This is my actually favorite time with the patient because we actually look at the biomarkers in the blood after several weeks of treatment, and I'm here with Brett Stevens. And what were you weighing when we met?
September 20th, I text Dana 317. So
And what are you weighing now?
This morning, 272.
272. And like, tell me some of the things that have gone on in your life since you've actually been on the protocol and following a diet and been on an exercise regimen. What's going on?
I mean, overall, my life's gone complete 180. It's as far as like how I feel and my energy levels and my sleep and everything. I mean, it's just, you can't even compare who I was in September and who I am now.
That's awesome.
You really can't. I'm still operating a company at a very, very, very high level.
Yeah.
I'm traveling all over the world, doing everything I need to do business, and then I also have a hobby of racing motorcycles. And
that's your labor of love, yeah.
And I put it all together, and it's just a completely different person. I can't compare who I am right now, or at least how I feel right now, and that's who I was.
Yeah, but tell me what's happened in the hobby, because you shared something with me off camera that I want these people to hear.
So we won our first, I raced 40 Pro class in the Legacy Off-Road Series here in Nevada, and I won my first pro race.
Pro motocross, that's legit, man. I actually ride dirt bikes as an amateur. I'm really bad at it, but if you've never actually ridden motocross and actually gotten after it on a dirt bike, you don't realize how much physical exercise there is in whipping that bike around. So I'm really happy for you, and I hope that you guys click on the link below and look at the entire journey with Brett. We're going to talk about the diet that he went on, all the changes in his blood biomarkers, exactly what he did on this journey, how he dropped almost 40 plus pounds. And remember, for every pound of body fat, your blood is pumping roughly an extra 6 miles. Right, so if you lose 10 pounds, your heart's pumping 60 less miles of blood. You lose 20 pounds, it's pumping 120 miles less blood. So think about where else that blood can be used. We can use it for cognitive function, we can use it for digestion, we can use it for waking energy, we can use it for timing, for hand-eye, for speed, for coordination, for strength, for muscle repair. So diverting all that to useless extra body weight is not efficient. So now you're diverting 37 pounds of fat vessels,
47 pounds?
Or 47 pounds of fat blood vessels back to the brain. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what is it?
So you finished second.
Yeah, second in the
championship.
But the last race of the season, we won it.
So you won a pro race?
And that's at the 40 pro class. I mean, you're racing the guys in the desert that are super fast, and that's what they've grown up doing. And it's like I said, like that. To me, the 40 pounds, the 50 pounds that I've lost thus far.
Yeah.
It is. That's not the end, right? Like, that's the beginning. It's like now I'm feeling to where, I'm running again, and I'm like, and I feel good when I run.
Yeah, you said you ran 5 miles.
I did.
In under 50 minutes.
47 minutes, and I actually have it on video and everything, so that. and I'm actually.
For all the haters. Yeah. We got a video of the whole run.
There's a lot of guys that don't think a guy 275 pounds can run 5 miles, but I definitely can. And then actually, at the end of February, I've entered to do the half marathon.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
The goal is to do the half marathon, 13 and a half miles. I want to do it under 4 hours.
Man, so I mean, this makes me so happy because what happens is, optimal health is like this, the center spoke, right? It's like the hub of the wheel, and there's all these spokes. Your family, your career, your goals, your exercise, your lifestyle, your kids. I love going into the blood, and on the outside, you look a lot better. When you first walked up today, the first thing I said, I was like, holy cow, your face is so much thinner. Your skin looks even. You're not nearly as big. I mean, you're obviously almost 50 pounds lighter, but it's noticeable. And you say things like, I'm sleeping better, I have more energy, I'm thinking more clearly. But again, those are all subjective, right? So now when we look at the objective findings, when we go into the blood, and we're actually going to put the blood up on the screen so you guys can see this, we look at the changes between when we started and now, and we look at real physiologic changes going on in the body. A couple of things that we noticed when we did the blood work the first time, our clinical team noticed that red blood cell count and hemoglobin were elevated, which happens on TRT, when you do hormone replacement therapy, it raises the number of red blood cells in the bloodstream. But when the bloodstream gets crowded, it actually thickens the blood. So if you look at a measure called hematocrit, this is a measure of blood viscosity, meaning how close is your blood to water or how close is your blood to motor oil. Your blood was very close to motor oil. Hematocrit was 53.3, right? Now it's thin as water. Hematocrit's down to 48. Red blood cells back in the normal range. Hemoglobin back in the normal range. The immune system maintains a very, very strong position. But then when we start going to some of the big biomarkers that I really like, you'll hear me say all the time, inflammation is the root of all evil. And then behind that, blood sugar is the root of all evil. So if you look at your blood sugar, it didn't really change much, right? Blood sugar went from 85 to 83 on a fasted basis, which is perfectly normal. But what really changed, what's super exciting, is that your insulin level went from almost 12 to just above 4.5. So this means it's taking 1/3 of the insulin to maintain the same level of blood sugar. So normally when glucose enters the blood, we secrete insulin to bring it down. Well, if your insulin continues to rise and your blood sugar doesn't move, this is called insulin resistance. But when you secrete insulin and your blood sugar is very reactive, you're more insulin sensitive. So he's become significantly more insulin sensitive. Right, this is a marker for longevity. You know, in the mortality space, we actually used to use insulin resistance as a marker for mortality. Right, it would apply to what we call all-cause mortality, so it would significantly shorten your life expectancy. So insulin is down and blood sugar is down, so the insulin is now more sensitive. When you start looking at your organ systems, this is where the real magic happens. We look at kidney function by measuring 2 poison levels in the blood: blood urea nitrogen and creatinine. You had very high levels of creatinine, you had elevated levels of blood urea nitrogen, but believe it or not, this marker right here, EGFR, it's your glomerular filtration rate. When organs get inflamed, the filtration rate through that organ slows down. If I can decrease inflammation, I can increase the filtration rate and bring the poison level down. So you are in early stage kidney failure right here, right? So you went from early stage kidney failure to improving your filtration rate by 50 points. When you improve the filtration rate, the poison levels drop. So now inflammation goes down, filtration rate increases, poison levels drop. That's why part of the reason why you're feeling so good.
Oh, I feel amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, tell me about like cognitive function. Do you feel like you're thinking more clearly?
Yeah. I mean, every part of my body feels different. It doesn't feel like.
You don't wake up sore and achy in the mornings anymore? No. Yeah, no sore feet and ankles.
And actually, we were in, my girlfriend and I were in Boston, and I remember waking up specifically one morning, and I woke up, and usually when I would wake up, you know, I had a pro MMA career as well before this.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yep.
So you're pro MMA and you were pro motocross.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, totally. And
awesome.
So I beat my body up a lot up to this point. And I'm telling you, I woke up in Boston one morning, and I was like, whoa, I hadn't woken up not sore, and this is not an exaggeration, this is honest to God. Dude. I had not woken up not sore like in 10 years or more. Like, wow. I got used to it. Okay, cool, I'll go take a warm bath. Like, you could ask anybody that knows me, or that, you know, I always ask, you know, in a hotel room, I want a bath, I just want something that I can soak in the morning.
Right.
And now I can wake up in the morning, and I'm not like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sore and achy. That's the inflammation leaving your body. We used turmeric, curcumin, Cogninourish. We used a lot of supplements to try to address inflammation. We used IV therapy to address inflammation, and you can see it systemically. I mean, if you look at your liver was inflamed and irritated. Your AST and ALT enzymes were elevated, which is a sign of irritation and inflammation. Now those have moved into the normal range, and the poison level has dropped. Alkaline phosphatase is a liver waste product, so as the filtration rate increases through the liver, alkaline phosphatase drops. So now you're seeing the results in the kidney. You're seeing the results in the liver. When you look at your prostate-specific antigen, which is a marker of inflammation in the prostate, men in their 40s and 50s and 60s generally start to get an enlarged prostate. You rarely see PSA go backwards. Yours went down 40%. So your PSA went from 1.2 down to 0.9. So this means inflammation's getting lower. When you look at your cholesterol, every marker of cholesterol improved. Cholesterol from 285 down to 255. Triglycerides, the measure of blood fat on a high-fat diet, because you're eating the majority fat. And this is a hard concept for people to realize that. Again, I'm a huge fan of keto. I don't think everybody needs to be on keto, but I very often will use a keto reset diet to reset the blood biomarkers, because when triglycerides are really high, the way to bring blood fat down is actually increase fat in a diet.
Yeah, I think that I was really excited to see my blood work, because when you're eating and you're eating like all this goat cheese and all these steaks and all these hamburgers and all these eggs.
Yeah.
The whole time you're like, I really hope he knows
Yeah,
what he's talking about.
conventional wisdom tells me I'm killing myself.
Yeah, I really hope this is going the right way.
You know, last time I pulled my blood, I had the same blood fat as a vegan, and I get 75% of my caloric intake from fat. And it's very hard for people to understand that once the body will switch into ketosis and use beta-hydroxybutyrate as a fuel source, which is a very low inflammatory fuel source, very low in something called deuterium-depleted water, which is great for the mitochondria, you feel amazing. And so what's happened here is, you know, your triglycerides went from 116 to 94. HDL cholesterol, your high density lipoprotein, healthy cholesterol, stayed stable. Your VLDL, the very low density lipoprotein, what we call very lethal cholesterol, that went down. The LDL cholesterol went down. So all of these biomarkers are improving as inflammation is falling. When we look at the 3-week average of blood sugar stayed stable, but you're using a third of the insulin to maintain the same blood sugar. That is phenomenal. You also see that PSA went down. There was a peptide therapy, and peptides are amino acids, and essentially growth hormone peptides essentially are amino acids that will rewind the pituitary to a more youthful level of growth hormone secretion. Very hard to measure growth hormone in the bloodstream, so we measure a secondary marker called IGF-1. That went from 136 to 196. So actually you're talking about a 60-point increase in the natural level of circulatory growth hormone in the body. Vitamin D3 went from clinically deficient to now back in the normal range. I would like to see that climb back up into the 60 to 80 nanogram range. Thyroid looks amazing. Your B12 levels, your homocysteine looks excellent. You know, it's almost down into normal levels. So what you see is just a massive systemic improvement with the intervention of, you know, clean eating and diet, an exercise program, and basic supplementation that's targeted at the blood biomarkers. Now you're running motocross races. Yep. Might even get back in the octagon. He's in the octagon now. Maybe he's going to restart his career as a pro UFC fighter. Who knows? We get him down to 225. We might. His wife's in the background saying, "No, that's not happening. Not happening." I hate you,
dude. This is just the start, though.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
I do feel like you know, that first 3-4 months. It sets you up for a mindset and it's stoking a fire that now I feel like I'm strong enough that my body's not going to, you know, tear apart, and now it's like this next 6 months is going to be incredible.
Dude, I'm so excited, man. I'm so happy to be on this journey with you. Thanks for taking the time and being vulnerable and letting us put that out there for the world. It's just science, guys.